Good morning, and my name is Dee Dee Connor. I am the Director of School Data Services, and today with me is Jennifer Winburn, and she's going to do this training. I'm going to speak for a very short period of time because we've said we can do this in 30 minutes. We will have some additional time for questions beyond that, so stay with us. We're not going to cut you off in 30 minutes, but we know how busy you are. We truly thank you for participating today. This is really good information. If you're not familiar with the Affordable Connectivity Program, you'll take some time to get familiar with it. Your families, almost 80% or more than 80% of our families in Kentucky are eligible, because if they go to a community eligibility provision school and they're getting free lunches regardless of income, they're eligible. Or if they're eating free and reduced lunch at a non-CEP school, they're still eligible. There's other factors that make them eligible, but it can save them $30 a month on their internet. They can also have opportunity to get $100 off of a device. So there are some options to get your students connected that maybe they aren't already connected over the summer and be ready for the fall, stay learning over the summer, or save some families that are already paying for internet an option to reduce their costs going forward. So we really appreciate you coming into this training and finding out more information about how we can use Infinite Campus to communicate out. And if you're used to using Messenger, this is very similar. It's just a different message. But if you've not used Messenger, keep in mind that's a great tool to use for a lot of your communications. And we hope you'll start thinking now about how to incorporate this into some of your online registration communications that go out over the summer too. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Jen, and thank you for being willing to take this on and show everybody how they can do this very effectively. I've got all choked up.
All right. So thank you everybody for participating. When we scheduled the training, we knew a lot of you all, of course, are doing testing. It's a Friday morning. Of course, it's Oaks Day and it's beautiful outside. So hopefully after this training, you'll go through the steps to share this information with all your families in your districts, and then maybe take some time later this afternoon to enjoy the sunshine. So first off, thank you again for joining us. Want to start out how to get to the actual affordable connectivity website. So if you're on KDE web page, which is education.ky.gov, if you just search ACP, it'll be the first thing that returns in the search. So right there is the Affordable Connectivity Program. So great information for you to share with those in your district to let them know about it as well. So share this website. And then what we've done is we've got some documentation to help promote it. So one of the ways we thought would be a great way to get this information in the hands of our parents is using our tool Campus Messenger to send it out. So when you send this out, it's actually going to include the eligibility information that the families need to submit to get the reduced or to get the $30 a month, or like Dee Dee was talking about earlier, actual money saved towards a device. So like most of our documents, we hope we made it very short and to the point. We've given you some overall background information. And then, of course, if you're not familiar with Campus Messenger, we've got a link in our document that will take you straight out to Campus Community so that you can get some more information if you're not familiar with using it. Campus Messenger is very, very easy to navigate once you get the hang of it. And then, of course, there's also Campus Messenger 2.0 that's in beta right now that is actually making it easier. But we're going to stick with Campus Messenger right now, just due to the fact that our state published ad hocs are not out there, but they will be. I've contacted Campus and they've assured us that they'll be out there shortly. So what we've got at the very top of our document right here is the path to navigate to find Messenger inside of the system. So I'm in a staging site, so there's no personal identifiable information in our staging site. So we're just going to walk through the steps to do this. We're going to walk through and actually copy and paste and talk about our 2 different sample letters that we have for you. And then we're gonna finish off actually inserting the campus fields so that when the information goes out, it has the student's name on it for the parent. Um, and then just do, questions and answers after that. We'll show you actually to skipped a step there on inserting links into the campus messenger, which will then allow your parents, when they receive this in their uh, campus portal message inbox or the email, they'll be able to click it and go straight to the websites. So I guess we'll go on and get started. So Dee Dee, can you see my screen okay? And then once we have
Yes, I can.
okay, we're good to go. We're ready to roll. Okay,
I think you
so of
might want
course,
to, if you don't, are you trying to keep both screens up at the same time?
I'm going to shrink it over now if that's
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
You're good.
yeah. Okay, all right. So, what within the document, of course, we have the path for you to follow. Um, and on that, of course, if you're using the regular classic campus, it's down under Messenger, Message Builder. Of course, if you're in the new look, don't forget you have the same little search bar under Search Tools, and then you can type in Messenger and it'll take you there. So when you're looking at this screen, what you're going to do is up here at the top is user groups. If you want somebody to be able to grab this message besides yourself, you can actually store it someplace where everybody can get to it. So that's the first little top tidbit up here. So we're going to go down. This message is going out as a general notification. It's not, you can list it as a priority message, but the reason why we wrote our documentation to be a general message is it's looking for those fields that you have attached to the person in their census record. Priority just came out, so we were not sure how many of you all have gone out and started marking that priority on that census people message platform. So we left it as general. We're going to send the message to student messenger contacts, and we're going to limit it to one message per household, basically. So this will have all of their students on one letter, so it only needs to go out one time. All right. Down here under our enrollment filter, we're going to send it to all of our active students that are active today. Now, if you want to resend this letter out and your school has closed for the year, just caution you, you will uncheck this and it's going to go out to anyone that has been enrolled in your school but has an end date as well. So just FYI, okay? So the first letter that we're going to walk through is for our CEP schools. So on the document, I'm going to pull it back over on my screen, and I know this gets a little confusing. We have a couple sample letters. So the very first sample letter is for our community eligibility provision program schools, the CEP school. So that's any student that is enrolled into a CEP school are qualified for this program. So since the school is going to be qualified, I'm going to go up and either select one school if only Buckingham Elementary is a CEP school, then I'm just going to select that school and then select active students. Remember though, if your entire district is CEP, you can select all schools at once. Most districts are all CEP, but we do have those few outliers that are partial. So our first letter again is for our CEP schools. You can select a school up here or you can do all schools. I was fortunate enough in my former district to be an all CEP district. So I would select all schools up here at the top, and you're going to look for your active student filter. So the active student filter, we have one of those in our state published ad hocs. It looks a little different again on my screen because I'm in a staging site, or most of you have just an active students filter. That's all you need to worry about when you're looking at that saved filters. So then we're going to go down and we're going to say, how do we want this delivered? So we want this to go out to our parents who have parent portal set up, and then we're going to go on and check that email. So if the email address is in campus, which the majority of our districts use that, we're going to check that email, and this information will go directly to their inbox as well of their email. So they're going to get it twice, but let's face it, a lot of our parents, they're either on their campus portal all the time or they're checking their email. So this is going to hit them at both ways. Your district, this reply to email will automatically populate because it's pulling from your messenger email settings. So again, where I'm in the staging site, that email doesn't populate for us, but in your district, when you click on that email checkbox, it's going to pull that up there for you. Okay. So when you're following our guide, we've actually asked for you to type in a message subject, and the message subject that we're asking you to use is eligibility for monthly internet service discount. So you can take that directly from our document. You can highlight it. Whoops, now it's not going to like me. Highlight it, copy it, and then paste it in. So that should save you a few clicks on the typewriter or on the keyboard, excuse me, going old school there. And then if you would, you can go back up to the top to our first sample letter. Again, this is a sample letter, but it gives you all the information that your families will need to fill out their application. So we're going to copy that sample letter down. Hold my mouse just right. I know I grabbed an extra line there, but we're going to have to do a little work because remember in campus, the body of the message is called WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So it does some formatting, but it doesn't take the true formatting from the Word document or the PDF. You have to do a little cleanup of it. So we're going to roll through that real quick and clean it up. So you can see it just takes a few minutes. What I'm doing is clicking and then hitting my delete key so I can remove that space. So just, keep in reference your sample letter here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to highlight this just because it's very important information. And we're going to keep rolling. I hope everybody is following along okay. It doesn't take but just, like I said, a minute to get your formatting back. You can tell, of course, I know where we've, our sample letter, where we've bolded things. But like I said, reference our document there. And then we're going to talk about inserting those campus fields. So I'm sure several of you all are familiar with the fact that in your message builder, in using Campus Messenger, you can insert any of your campus fields. So any of the fields that have information in, you can insert them into your message builder. It doesn't take but just a few moments. So what we're going to do now is we're going to insert the first and last name of the students. So I'm going to come down, I place my cursor next to the child's name. I'm going to go up to my campus fields. When I click this button, you're going to see all the information that you're used to seeing over on your index. I'm going to click on demographics. I'm going to find that first name. And when I click first name, you'll see that the field has been inserted in. I'm going to put a space because I'm going to go grab that last name. So I'm going back to my campus fields. I'm going to hit demographics, select my last name. So it's in there and ready. Did another space. That way it just keeps your formatting. I'm going to go over and click on the opposite side of school. I'm going to add a space. Going back to my campus fields, click school, and then I'm going to find name. Okay. So remember with your campus fields, if you just want to verify you have the right field, student, that is the field that's linking back to our student information. So student first name, and then student last name, and then the school name would actually be, of course, under your system administration resources school. So the field name is school.name. That's just another way you can verify that you've pulled those right fields in. So we're going to go back and finish out adding in our information. And I'm almost there. First name. Okay. So as this goes through, it's going to look at your household. It's going to grab the names of those students, and it's going to filter in the school that they're enrolled right now. And then we're going to go here and we're going to actually finish cleaning up. And then we're going to talk about linking our URLs. So within the document, we have 2 URLs. So what we want to do in order to make these hyperlinks in the email or on the campus portal, we're going to highlight the link fully. Then we're going up on our toolbar. Remember, the toolbar is called What You See is What You Get. So sometimes we like to add different, how do I say, signs to, preference things that we're used to in Word. You're not going to find those exactly in Infinite Campus Message Builder, but the majority of them are in there. So I'm going up to what looks like a link of a chain, and I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click Insert a Link. So you'll see that the text that I highlighted was automatically down here for you. So we can copy this and then paste our URL again and insert it. So now when I click off that, you've got your underline so that people know that that is actually a link. And I want to come down
Jen,
here
can
to
I
the
ask you a real quick question that came
yes.
in through chat? It says, do we actually have to put child's name in 3 times, exactly like you did? Is that just to allow for multiple children?
That's just to allow for multiple children. So if there's only one student in the household, the other child name will not have a name filled out below it.
So it just to make it easy. I think I was afraid to respond myself, but I think it's just to make it easier so you can send one letter out per family versus
Per family.
having to put out
Yes.
a letter for each child.
Yes, that's correct. And you only need one student to actually qualify, but we felt like the families would then be asking, well, what about a letter for this child and this child? The families only get the $30 for one entire family.
And remember, these are just examples. If you want to do a tweak it and do it a little different, that's your prerogative. You can do that.
Yes.
I mean, if you just want to put that in the letter that only one child has to apply, or to qualify, that's fine. These are just examples of what you could use. Thanks, Jen.
Yep. All right. So again, we're going down to our next URL that we want to hyperlink, copy it, come back up to my link, and I'm going to do insert and copy and paste, insert as well. So that is building your actual letter in Campus Builder. And from there, we're going to go down here to the delivery date and just talk about that for a second. This is totally up to your district when you want to send it. I know some districts like to send communications out like at a specific time. Um, and, not bombard, the families and so forth. So you can change your delivery date to be whatever time you wish it to be. And then, of course, the email sent or uh, the inbox, campus portal inbox notification will be sent at whatever time you select here. You have the ability to test this. So if you have someone that you would like to test to make sure the information is pulling and it looks the way you wish it to look, you can click the test and then enter in a destination email. So it could be your email. It's not going to pull in the student's name. It's just going to give you the overall formatting of this so that you can verify it. So you could actually send it to yourself to verify that the formatting is what you want and that your links that you've added to the websites are available. Okay. And then we have the preview and send. So what the preview and send button does is it's going to go back up to the top again. So it's going to verify that this is going out as a general message. It's going to the messenger contacts, only one per family, and then it's going to list for you all active students, and it's going to pull from this filter to verify that the students in that filter are active today. And then when you preview it and send, it will give you a list of who all it's sending this letter to. So if you have an idea of how many households you have in your family, here's when you take a moment and you verify, yes, that's the number of kids, that's the number of households I was thinking of doing. Also, too, something that I probably should have put in our directions, and I may go back and add them, is if you have someone that you could do just a single one person to verify and test. You could also select a filter here of just the one student. I know many of you all are familiar with ad hoc and having just that one student to pull that direct information. But so once you hit your preview and send, you'll see all your households, and then you have your send button, and then you're done. And so the letter will be distributed to your families, and then you'll get, of course, you can go in to your recipient log and you can see how many of those families received them, and if you might need some email addresses to update. So I want to take you back through just real quick. I know we've got our CEP, and we told you we had 2 sample letters, and our other sample letter is for our non-CEP schools. So that's for our National School Lunch Program schools. So the students that have submitted the National School Lunch Form that have been um, processed, and the student has been their eligibility has been marked either free or reduced. So the letter is pretty much the same. But what we're going to do is we're going to have to modify our information up at the top. So just to save us time, I'm actually going to copy this. And then we'll go back to our message builder. And I'm going to leave because, like I said, I'm in a staging site, so I don't have as much information as you all do. But in the message builder, we're going to talk about the different saved filters. So again, general notification, student message contacts, one message, limit, only active students as of today, but we want to look for our students that have that eligibility of free or reduced. So we're going to grab that filter, and then again, you can follow our steps here. Again, the sample letter does read just a hair different, so we can copy and paste that again. The FRAM eligibility is under our state published ad hocs. So you'll have the plus sign, state published ad hocs, then scroll down to FRAM eligibility. We ask that you use our little message subject here. So I'm going to copy and paste that. So basically the same information that went out to the CEP schools will now go out to our non-CEP schools, the National School Lunch Program students. But you're set and ready to go for those students. So the only difference is selecting a different ad hoc. Again, same thing. If your district is all non-CEP schools, you could select all schools, or you can just go down and select the 2 or 3 schools that you need. The only bad thing about Message Builder is you can only select one school at a time in your calendar up here and be able to get to that state published ad hoc. So you may have to click it 3 or 4 times if you have 4 schools out of your 10 schools that are National School Lunch Program schools. But other than that, it's going to be the same exact steps, except for you're selecting a different site filter. All right. Dee Dee, anything else you think I should add or need to explain?
I think one of the questions is that a Spanish version of this available. I think there is some Spanish versions of some of the documentations that go along with the program. But as far as the letter that we've done, we don't have anybody to translate it and put it on there. I think you do whatever process you normally do to get something translated. So that you can send it out to Spanish-speaking families. So, but we do not have anything at KDE level. So I would just like to point out that, somebody pointed out that they've gotten some information from T-Mobile. I think I've seen it at the bottom of a Spectrum bill if you're getting if you're seeing those. So they're getting this information from other sources. We just felt like at KDE, when we looked at the numbers, under 40% of Kentucky eligible families were actually participating. And we felt like if there's something we could do at the school level to help promote it, why not? You can get the families more aware of the opportunity to save some money or get connected if they're not already connected. So that's why we felt like Messenger was such a good resource to do that. And we don't have any other. Okay, so it might be that T-Mobile has a separate, I think I saw another message came in, it might be a different message, but I do know that ACP program is actually on the Spectrum bills, so they are getting that information. This is really intended to help you with eligibility letters, because every time somebody contacts you and says, I need an eligibility letters, because they've got to do that, the ACP program has created some new processes and refined some stuff over the last year to make it a little bit easier to apply, but they still need that eligibility letter. And when you send out this letter, that becomes the eligibility letter. So you're done. You've done it all at one step. You've gone through these steps. You can see it didn't take Jen very long. Some of you have done it today along with her. Good job. But it's one of those things that once it's done, they've got the eligibility letter in hand. All they've got to do is upload that. And that makes it a whole lot easier for them than having to come to you individually to get these eligibility letters. I don't see that we have any other questions coming in. Jen, good job. You actually did it in 30 minutes or less, and it's less. So we will stay on in case there's some additional questions, but we do encourage folks to help get the information out. It's good information. It can really benefit our Kentucky families, and it can really make the start of school year easier for you next year, having more people or students in homes connected than you maybe had in the past. So thank you again for your interest. This session is recorded, So you will have the opportunity to share this information. We will post it out on our ACP webpage and also our cases training page, so that there's a couple places you can get to it. We'll probably send a cases notification out with a link also. So those of folks that are not able to participate today can easily find it.
We do have a question
So
about
where do you find messenger email setting? We do get another question. If you have to jump off, we completely understand. There's a lot going on, but again, stick with us if you've got questions, and we'll continue to answer them. Thank you.
Yeah. So under system administration, messenger preferences, that's where you'll find your messenger setting. So the messenger settings will pull up, and then excuse me. Yep. So here is where you'll go in and you'll put your portal URL in, and then like start times and how you want things delivered. And then you also have messenger preferences email settings. And this is where you put your default email in. Work with your technology coordinator. Most of our districts have a non-reply email set up so that it's not coming from one specific person. So work with your technology director, your CIO, director of technology coordinator, your DTC, if you need that, because you'll also need to get with them to get the SMTP hosting site. So there's a little information that they'll have to provide you if you do not have this set up yet. So, and then I saw where we had the question about, is the save filter required if the entire district is CEP? For Messenger Builder, the regular Messenger Builder, let me collapse that. You do need to use the all active students in order for it to know who to send the message to. One of the changes in Messenger 2.0 is they have it actually built in so that you just select all active students and you don't have to select a filter. So that's the difference between Message Builder and Message 2.0 is you can automatically just select that all active students and not have to select a filter. So, and it also says they don't see the state published all active. Let me go double check it and I'll make sure it's out there within the next couple of minutes once we finalize and finish. So to find the actual sample letters, that is out on KDE's website. So if you are on KDE's website, and I'll take you all the way back to the beginning. So we have education.ky.gov. If you click in the search box, ACP, press enter, the very first search that comes up is our Affordable Connectivity Program website. From here, the sample letters are over on the right side under outreach materials used by schools. All right. And then our other question, when I test an email to myself, the first and last name fields inserted are not blue like the school name is. So the reason why the first and last name of the student is not blue is because your record in campus is entered as a staff record, not a student record. So you have a school attached to you. So that's why school came up as blue, if that makes sense. But if you send it to like the one student ad hoc or whatever, then you know, you may be able, it will pull in the student's name, but that's why the first and last name are not blue when you send it to yourself, and only the school name is, because campus recognizes your email as being a staff member. I hope that makes sense. So the purpose of the active students and then choosing active students again, it's just the way the program was designed initially. And so initially for Message Builder, you had to select a filter over here, and then you do not have to do this enrollment filter. So you could you could actually have a save filter that just says all students, and then the all students filter is going to pull in any student that was enrolled this school year. But by placing this active only students, it's going to pull just the active only. So just in keeping in mind that we're trying to target our active students now so that they can get this information, we have the active students filter. That's the only difference. You could do either or.
And some of you all may be very creative in the fact that there's, this is something, it's just not available to families with students. I mean, there's a lot of other criteria for being eligible for this. If you're participating in certain programs, if there's income eligibility requirements. So if you dig into the webpage that Jen pointed out, it provides a lot of information. We're just today targeting the students because we know that we've got so many families that do have students that are eligible, but it really is a program that can be helpful for your whole community, regardless if they have students or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a list of 9 different criterias that you can meet, or one of 9 criterias that you can meet in order to receive this funding. So we were just using this as to target our students that we know of today.
An example, again, it's another student related one, but this is kind of the ones we focus on the most. If you've got college students coming back that received Pell eligibility in a family there, that family's eligible just based on a college student, receiving a Pell Grant. So.
The recording will not be on the media portal. It's going to be on our ACP webpage, and then it'll also be on our KSYS training page. So when you're on KDE's website, we will actually put our recording here under outreach materials for you all to use. It'll be listed here, and then our KSYS training page. So technology, whoops, let me go back one. Apologize. Technology support, excuse me, the technology page. So district support services. And my mouse is going crazy. Technology, KSYS student information, and then our training page. So it will be linked down here with our campus messenger affordability. So the link will be there as well.
I mentioned earlier, there's other ways to communicate. This is one. Many of you are sending out information on online registration. That's another opportunity to get information out through that vehicle also. So be creative, share some of your best practices. If you go back to the ACP page, you can see there's resources to schools. Even if you want to go low tech, and you still don't mind printing a bunch of pieces of paper out, there's options to send home flyers to the students in backpacks and other information also. But if you look at the school resources, if you'll pull that back up,
yeah.
It does provide you some other options. Those are things that are available from the Affordable Care Connectivity Program that they've actually created, and they also did some of that information is available in Spanish.
And they actually have a toolkit for you all to use. Mm-hmm. I thought that it had, as long as, so you're saying, so the question is the student schedule from Campus Messenger still acceptable as proof of enrollment? I'm not for sure on that. I know
Yeah.
that when we looked at the guidelines that the school had to be listed with a student name, and then that they participated in either the CEP or the National School Lunch Program. So I know that the CEP had to be on there somewhere that they were participating in that program.
And I know they've been trying to make a lot of improvements to this program, so it may be that they've got a better list of CEP schools, and maybe they're using that, but we don't have that information for confirmed. Any other questions anybody has?
Okay, so it did duplicate. Is it only one student in that household? So we had a question, it said they just tested it, and since I left the student filters in the letter 3 times, it duplicated one student in the household 3 times. Well, when I did my testing, and again, I had the household set up with 1 student, then a household set up with 3 students. It's the only student in the household. It only pulled up, it left it blank. So I'm not Let me go back and I will double check. If you do change it. Hmm, Let me see. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it here on the Scrambled site. It shouldn't stop the family from getting the information. It does not look as pretty as what we would like for it to, but it will not stop the family for being not getting the benefit if the name is duplicated.
And if you only want to do, the do one
Child.
child, just put the one on there and tweak the letter to just say only requires one child to be to enroll or something like that, so that you don't have people calling you asking one for each child.
All right. I don't, oops, I see. If parents have questions about this, should we direct them to the KDU webpage? Yes, you can direct them to the KDU webpage, and then also the Affordable Connectivity webpage that is linked in our sample letter, and of course linked on our KDE page. There is a number that parents can call if they have any questions whatsoever. So I'll Max zoom in my screen there. So here is the number that parents can call if they have any um, questions concerning this.
So yeah, and point them there. Don't send them to KDE with questions, because we have tried to get all the information and the links to the federal program all on this page to help them. We probably don't have any more information than what we've pulled together to share. So the resources that the link and the phone number that Jen provided just now are the best to use.
This information, so the question was, how does this affect people who are education guardians with power of attorney on file for a student? That would probably be a question that I would refer to um, the Federal Communications site of the ACP program. I'm not sure how you have your system set up, but power of attorney is not technically the guardian of the student. So if you have the guardian listed with the power of attorney holder, then that's who will receive this information through your campus messenger.
And really, it's a household eligibility. So
Really.
if they're living in that household, they're most likely eligible. That household would be eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
we'll do
that's
some more
correct.
testing of them multiple times. Things appearing
Yes.
multiple times and so forth. And if we need to adjust our instructions, we can do that.
Yeah.
There may have to be, there's a question about, does anyone know how to stop discounts if students graduate? It's the program really allows for it's an annual program. So once the eligibility is confirmed, I think they would remain eligible for that year. Beyond that, I think that the program itself would reach out for some additional eligibility to continue the program. Hopefully, if they graduate and go on to college or something like that, they would, maybe get a Pell Grant, or as they get before they get going, they might be eligible from purely based on income. It's not a requirement that they be in school. I think that, as long as the funding for this was, renewed, so, the funding is extending beyond what we originally anticipated. So I think that at some point, if the funding is no longer there, that communication would go out from this federal agency.
Yeah. And then we have one more question. Do you suggest sending it out before the end of the school year? And again, next school year for new students? Yes. I mean, go on and send it out now. That way they can get those additional benefits. It will really help those, the majority of our families. And then again, if you send it out to new students that enrolled, it just gives them the information to go and participate in receiving these funds.
And many families will have to get this multiple times for it really to get on their radar. I wouldn't limit it to just new families. If they've, if you send it out through Messenger now and you do, use online registration, try it again then. But just, even in the fall, people's situations change. And if they all get the same eligibility letter again, and they've already enrolled, they can ignore it. But if not, they've got what they need to take advantage. All right, Jen, I think we'll wrap up. I think the questions have kind of quit coming in. If there's some then does come up specific to campus, I mean, we're always glad to help you figure it out. So reach out to us. But otherwise, I appreciate the presentation and the information you shared today, and I hope everyone found it very helpful. And Campus Messenger, is a great tool for districts to use, regardless of what they're trying to connect, and it really makes your families realize the importance of being on campus portal and understanding. And the research shows that families that engage, even through a mobile app, the children end up doing better. So this is just one more way of doing that. Thanks all. We're going to sign off.